All right, so you're thinking about adding a deck.
Ah, yes.
That sweet spot for soaking up the sun or maybe hosting some epic barbecues, right?
Right.
But then comes the big question. Is it cheaper to build your own deck, or should I just call the pros?
Yeah, that's the question.
Well, get ready, because in this deep dive, we're going to unpack all the factors that go into making that decision.
Absolutely. And it's a question we get all the time.
Yeah.
And trust me,
Yeah.
it's not as straightforward as it seems. We're going to break it down.
Okay.
From the financial side to all that sweat equity you got to put in.
Let's do it. Now, at first glance,
Yeah.
DIY just screams savings, right?
Yeah.
You're cutting out all that expensive labor,
Right.
which could be a huge part of the project.
It can.
But hold on, because
Okay.
it's not always so black and white.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Because
Yeah.
you know the material cost is going to be pretty much the same,
Uh,
whether you DIY or hire a pro.
That's true.
So that's where things start to get kind of interesting.
Interesting indeed.
Yeah.
We were just looking at Green Exterior Modeling.
Yeah.
You know, they're a well-known deck building company.
Sure.
Out of Charlotte, North Carolina.
Yeah.
And they have a fantastic article about this.
Oh, wow.
They point out that a lot of people just totally forget about the tools.
Oh, yeah, the tools. Because a professional crew,
Oh, yeah.
they roll up with a truck loaded with all the good stuff, right? Miter saws for those perfect angles, nail guns for rock-solid fastening, you know,
9 yards.
the whole shebang, yeah. But if you're going DIY,
Right.
you might have to shell out some serious cash
Yeah.
to buy or rent those tools.
So is it cheaper to build your own deck
Mhm.
when you factor in all those tool expenses?
Yeah, it's a good question.
Maybe not so much. But let's say you've got some basic tools
Okay.
and you're feeling, pretty good with a hammer.
All right, I like it.
What then?
Well, then skill level becomes a huge factor.
Yeah.
Building a deck, one that's structurally sound, up to code,
Right.
that's not like putting together some IKEA furniture.
No, it's not.
There are a lot of technical details
Definitely.
and building regulations to think about.
And, Green Exterior Remodeling's article really highlighted this.
Oh, yeah.
They talked about improper joist spacing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And if those joists aren't spaced just right, you could end up with a bouncy deck,
Oh, no.
which is not exactly the relaxing oasis you were dreaming of.
Then a bouncy deck.
Yeah.
It's more than an annoyance. It could be a serious safety hazard.
Oh, wow.
Leading to costly repairs down the line.
So is it cheaper to build your own deck if you have to fix all those big mistakes?
Probably not.
Probably not. It's like trying to save a few bucks on a haircut and ending up with a style that makes you want to wear a hat for months.
Right.
Sometimes it's just better to trust the experts.
I think so.
And speaking of experts, let's talk about time.
Okay.
Professional deck builders, like those guys at Green Exterior Remodeling,
Yeah.
they've got the experience to get it done efficiently and to a high standard.
Right.
They're in and out,
Mm.
leaving you with a beautiful, functional deck in a fraction of the time it would take to DIY.
Yeah.
So is it cheaper to build your own deck if you factor in the time commitment? Imagine spending all your weekends, your evenings, for weeks, maybe even months,
Yeah.
wrestling with lumber and power tools
Right.
when you could be actually enjoying your new deck.
Yeah. They say time is money, right?
That's true.
And if you're someone who values their free time,
Uh-huh.
hiring a pro can be a huge win,
Yeah.
even if it means, a little bit higher upfront cost.
So we've talked about the tools,
Yeah.
skill level, and time.
Yep.
But there's another piece of this puzzle that's often overlooked,
Okay.
and that is the value of professional advice.
Yeah, and what's really interesting about that is that professionals, like Green Exterior Remodeling, they bring a lot of knowledge to the table.
I do.
They can guide you on everything.
Okay.
Choosing the right decking materials for your climate, your lifestyle, to really maximizing that outdoor space with a smart design.
They can even help you navigate those building codes
Absolutely.
and permits.
Permits, yeah, really important.
They're like deck whisperers.
They are.
And Green Exterior Remodeling, they have a stellar reputation in Charlotte
I bet.
for a reason.
Yeah.
People rave about their attention to detail
Yeah.
and their ability to create truly stunning outdoor spaces.
Yeah, they understand the nuances of deck construction in a way that most DIers just don't.
Right.
They know how to build a deck
Mm-hmm.
that not only looks beautiful, but also stands up to the elements,
Right.
lasts for years to come.
Okay, but let's play devil's advocate for a second.
Okay, I like it.
Let's say you are pretty handy
Right.
and you are determined
Yep.
to build your own deck.
Okay.
Is it cheaper to build your own deck with all these factors we're talking about?
Oh, is it? It depends how you define cheaper.
Okay.
You might save some money on the labor,
Uh-huh.
but you're potentially sacrificing quality, durability, maybe even your sanity in the process.
Right. When you think about the long-term value of your deck,
Yeah.
is saving a few $100s really worth it
Right.
if it means cutting corners or ending up with just, a blah result?
It's a good question.
That's something to think about.
It is.
We're going deep here, but there's more to uncover. Let's keep exploring these factors that tip the scales when we talk about the cost of building a deck.
Something people don't always think about are the hidden costs of DIY.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, all that stress, the frustration.
Yeah.
Maybe even some arguments with your significant other over misplaced tools or crooked boards.
Oh, tell me about it. I tried to build a bookshelf once, and let's just say it didn't end up on Pinterest.
So is it cheaper to build your own deck when you think about,
Right.
the toll it could take on your mental health and
Yeah.
relationships?
Yeah, maybe that peace of mind everyone talks about is worth it.
Yeah, it can be. You're buying freedom. Freedom from stress, freedom from worry, freedom to actually enjoy your summer
Yeah.
instead of being totally consumed by a construction project.
And freedom to enjoy those backyard barbecues without having to point out which boards you messed up.
Exactly. Now, let's be fair
Okay.
to all the DIYers out there.
Uh-huh.
Some people find that hands-on experience of building something so rewarding.
I can see that. There's something about saying, I built this.
Absolutely. And there's a creative side to it, too.
Oh, for sure.
Getting to customize every little detail.
Yeah.
If that sense of personal accomplishment is a big deal for you,
Yeah.
then the cost-benefit analysis might just tip in favor of DIY.
Okay.
But I'd still say talk to a pro,
Oh, yeah.
like Green Exterior Remodeling, just to get some expert advice.
So is it cheaper to build your own deck
Yeah,
if you're ready to put in all that sweat equity
right.
and you have a decent level of skill? It's still tough, isn't it?
It really is. And think about the materials, too.
Oh, right, the materials.
Professionals, they know the latest and greatest decking materials.
Mm-hmm.
You've got composites that look like real wood,
Wow.
high-tech coatings to prevent fading and scratches.
That's amazing. I bet those guys at Green Exterior Remodeling,
Oh, yeah.
they know all about that.
They're up to date.
They know what's durable, stylish, and what can handle our North Carolina weather.
Exactly. They can help you pick materials
Yeah.
that not only look great, but also last a long time.
Right, low maintenance, save money in the long run.
Absolutely.
So is it cheaper to build your own deck when you could end up making a costly mistake with materials?
Yeah, if you go with cheap wood that warps in a year, you're back at square one.
Exactly. And pros get better prices anyway, right?
Yeah, they usually have access to better pricing because they're buying in bulk.
Makes sense.
And they have those relationships with the suppliers.
So we've covered a lot.
We have tools, skills, time, professional advice.
Material selection, it's a lot.
It is. But ultimately, whether you DIY or hire a pro, it comes down to your own situation, your priorities,
Mm-hmm.
and your comfort level.
So is it cheaper to build your own deck? The answer is,
It depends.
it depends. I know that very satisfying.
I know, right? But it's the truth.
But we're not going to leave you hanging. We've got some tips to help you make the right decision.
Yeah, let's talk about some key questions you need to ask yourself before you commit to either route.
All right, so to wrap up this deep dive, let's go over some practical questions to help you decide what's best for your deck project.
That sounds good.
First things first, how much time and energy can you honestly commit to this?
Right, because it's not a weekend project.
No, it's
It's
not.
a commitment.
If you've got a busy work schedule or family responsibilities,
Right.
or maybe you just like to relax on the weekends,
Yeah.
DIY might not be the best way to go.
It could be a lot to take on.
So is it cheaper to build your own deck if you're going to be stressed and rushed the whole time?
Probably not. And you're more likely to make mistakes.
And mistakes can get expensive.
Exactly.
Yep.
And nobody needs that extra stress.
Nope. Okay, so next question.
Yeah.
How comfortable are you with power tools and construction stuff?
You got to be honest with yourself about your skill level.
Yeah, if you're more of a put-together furniture kind of person,
Right.
building a deck might be a little overwhelming.
There's definitely a learning curve.
Yeah.
And if you're not comfortable with measuring, cutting, and fastening,
Right.
it's going to be a steep one.
So is it cheaper to build your own deck if you like experience
Yeah.
and end up making costly mistakes?
It could actually end up costing you more in the long run.
All right, question number 3.
Okay.
What's your budget? And how much wiggle room do you have?
Yeah, because even though DIY might be cheaper up front, there are always unexpected costs that can pop up.
Like what?
like needing to buy extra materials
Oh, yeah.
or rent special tools.
And a professional will probably give you a more accurate estimate up front.
Right, which helps you avoid going over budget.
So is it cheaper to build your own deck if you're on a tight budget and can't afford to mess up?
That's when you really need to consider every single angle.
Okay, last question.
All right.
What about building codes and permits?
Oh, yeah, those are important.
Do you feel good about figuring those out?
They can be tricky, and if you don't follow them, it could mean fines and delays later on.
And professional, like green exterior remodeling,
Yeah,
they know all about those local codes.
absolutely. And they can make sure everything is done right.
So is it cheaper to build your own deck when you consider the potential headache of dealing with permits and inspections?
Hiring a pro might save you a lot of stress.
Totally. I mean, that peace of mind is so valuable,
It really is.
knowing your deck is built right
Yeah.
with good materials
Uh-huh.
by experts.
It's priceless.
So to wrap up, is it cheaper to build your own deck?
The age-old question.
It depends.
It does. But hopefully we've given you the info you need to figure it out.
Absolutely. Be honest with yourself
Right.
and weigh all the factors.
And if you're thinking about going pro, companies like Green Exterior Remodeling offer free consultations.
Right.
So you can get expert advice, explore your options, and get a real idea of the cost.
That's awesome. Sometimes the best value is knowing when to trust the experts.
Couldn't agree more.
They can help you make your dream deck a reality without all that stress and headache of doing it yourself.
Exactly. So invest wisely, choose quality, and get ready to enjoy your beautiful new outdoor space.
That's all for this deep dive. Thanks for joining us.